This video will give the scale technician important information on installing the LTS lift truck scale. The LTS lift truck scale will be shipped on a pallet. If it's a single scale, it will be laid flat. Often, if we ship multiple scales, they will be shipped in a vertical position. The contents include the scale carriage, also known as the scale base, which will be shipped with safety plates attached if shipped in the horizontal position, and with safety plates packaged separately if in the vertical position. There will also be a load cell cable assembly and mounting bracket, a power cable, an indicator with mounting hardware, an optional side shift bracket if that is part of the order, and a technical manual. Mounting the scale involves positioning the scale base to be hooked onto the lift truck carriage and then completing the assembly.
Put it on the part of the skating.
Now they're going to have to tilt the carriage full forward.
That's the answer.
I can't see. Alright. Straight up. Straight up. Back and forth there because it's not in that notch yet. Once he puts it in a notch, it'll lock down real nice. Yeah, there it goes. See it?
See, it sits in solid, doesn't rock anymore, and you can't slide it.
Never mind that.
Right there, it's good.
At this point, the technician can reattach the safety plates to the bottom of the scale assembly and adjust the carriage alignment bolts so that they are resting on the scale carriage.
And the bolts, okay.
So on the bottom carriage, on either side.
You look on it, it'll hold it like this. Little base. That there. You can see that it's clamped onto here and locking in position where it will not come off now. See how it's locked in here? Now that scale cannot push away at all.
So do you put those on, you torque at a certain...
Yes, they get torqued to 125 foot-pounds. As long as you get set to 125.
So it makes this argument. Yeah. But if your plate is sitting crooked against their plate, it will not weigh correctly. So you have to make sure all those bolts are touching at the same time. So you just loosen them or tighten them to get them all in touch at the same time.
And then you bring it in. Generally, you can do it just by hand until it touches, just barely touches that back plate. And then tighten the lock nut.
At this point, the scale technician can reattach the forks to the lift truck and complete this cable assembly.
See how this little lip here? It's going to go through this opening, then we can slide it back and forth. If you just tilt it down a little bit so it can accept the fork. You go up a little, guys. Okay. Got it on?
Yeah.
So you just get the lip to go over right there. Pick it up. Now we can go through that hole and just slide it over. Indicator. Okay. This is the bracket that we'll use to hold it on to the forklift. We have these U-bolts that will go through these slots and then connect it to the post on the forklift. Here's your connector, and it fits right in here.
Across a small piece of metal there.
Right. So you go up like that, and that's how it attaches.
We have a 4-amp fuse. We have a crimp connector. Obviously you'll strip the wires back. Crimp it there. Crimp it there.
And now that stops the current from, too much current from flowing through and blowing up the indicator.
This is the first line of protection. Sometimes I'll have mounting back here, but for this you would actually put it on going this way.
Okay.
So that'll get bolted on there.
How we wad up the cable in shipping so it doesn't get pinched off and beat up while it's being shipped. Kind of tuck it in the middle of the scale there and just wire tie it off. All you gotta do is break the wire tie and unwrap it.
The side shift bracket kit also comes with this piece of angle, which you can bolt on generally through the top or the bottom of this, and this will tie to it with a zip tie, and then this will tie over here. These 4 holes here are used for zip ties, and you'll tie it here. And you need enough slack in between these two so they can move back and forth as the carriage slides.
Right.
With the lower lift forklifts, don't have the extended reach. You know, you can run the cable right to the bar and up. For the ones with the extended reach, you're gonna have to tie it off up here.
Like the triple mast, you're talking like the more
Yeah,
like a
the triple
picker
mast, you're
or
definitely
something
gonna
that's
have
in
to
a
tie it
warehouse
off.
that goes way up.
What they're gonna want to do after that, run it all the way up, all the way forward, all the way up. Run it back down, make sure the cable isn't catching anything.
This concludes our instructional video on installing the LTS scale. We value your business and invite you to call us if we can be of further assistance.